Hey everybody, and welcome to week 11 of EDU6200. You're seeing the rotating Dr. Richmond from room to room to room. I hope the fan behind me is not bothering you, but now I got house guests. I think you all know Mom's living here, watching the TV downstairs, took over the dining room, all that good stuff. So here I am in my office, spare bedroom. I don't often do my videos from up here, but here you guys go. So I want to start out with a couple very important things I'm seeing happening again and again, ladies and gentlemen. Number one is this really important thing to remember to look at the rubrics for the WCG assignments. I refer to them in every video. I'm going to refer to them again tonight, but I want to make sure you're referring to those rubrics. It is essential that you follow what it says on that rubric. They are all located on the right-hand side of the main page in the course portal. When you go in the portal, right there on the main page, right-hand side is every rubric you need. Make sure you read it and compare your assignment to it before that, because on WCG number 5, I found a lot of assignments that had not followed the rubric and not looked at the rubric in any way, shape, or form. So please make sure you're doing that. That is really important. Number 2, we did the video chats in week 6 and week 9. And right now, there's like 6 of you who haven't done the video chat summary in week 6. And probably about 9 or 10 of you haven't done it in week 9. Get those done now. Get them out of the way so you don't have to worry about them. All right. Week number 11 is chapter 9 in the textbook. I'm not doing any content in this video because in week 12 we have another video chat. I'm going to cover the content for the chapters from these few weeks that we're missing right now. What I want you to make sure, though, is that the group for week number 11 is going to have their information. Oh, hi, Ollie. Oliver came to help out. Week 11 group is going to have their stuff in there tonight for you. So you can go ahead and start. Oh, hi, Oliver. You saying hi to everybody? Yes, he is. He's very curious. He wants to know what Daddy's doing. So go ahead and make sure you get that in week 11 group. And everybody else, you're going to do your initial post to their questions by Friday of this week. That's November 1st. And then by Monday, hello again, Oliver. Now you're going to walk across my screen. I hope he didn't stop the video. I don't think he did. Thank goodness. It is still recording. All right. Thanks, Oliver. We think you're beautiful, by the way, buddy. All right. That's number 1. And then, of course, your response posts are on Monday. That's November 4th. The second assignment due this week is WCG number 7, which I'm going to talk about in detail in a few minutes, along with WCG number 6, which is due next week. So be aware of those things due this week by 11/4. And keep moving forward, keep working on your assignments. I want to give you a quick review. Take notes. Due this week, week 11, WCG 7, School and Community Research. Due in week number 12, WCG 6, the Field Experience Assignment, Professional Development. I'll explain that one in a minute. Week 13, WCG number 10, which is the Observation Summary, goes all the way back to number 9. We did way back in early September. And then finally, due in week 15, WCG number 8. I'll go over that one again tonight. Nobody has come to me and said, hey, Dr. Richmond, my school said no to this WCG number 8 assignment, so I'm going to assume we're going forward. First, don't forget WCG number 4 is due tonight, and that is the Compliance Action Plan presentation. Even if you already submitted it, you can still resubmit. I haven't assessed any of them yet. That's tonight. Make sure that number 1, you have gone ahead and picked one of the items from WCG number 3. This is where some of the confusion is coming again. I saw somebody submit an assignment to me to look at, and they're talking about WCG number 5. This is about 3, the compliance inventory, where you took that list of 16 things from your principal. Now you're going to pick one of those areas, and you're going to report on it in this one, where you're going to make sure you address the 4 areas again. Remember, only one of the 4 areas must have 4 items. That's the second one about federal guidelines. And then, of course, you do want to make sure that you've presented this in a way that somebody wants to look at. So engaging presentation. That's WCG number 4. All right. Due in week number 7. I'm sorry. Thanks, Oliver. He's so friendly tonight. I don't get it. You done, buddy? No, he's still curious. Sorry, guys. WCG number 7 due this week, upcoming week number 11. This is where you're going to look at 5 or more publications that talk about school and community research. You're going to find 5 articles, 5 research pieces, 5 websites that are reputable, that are things you're going to use for this research. And then you're going to talk about 5 ways that schools can incorporate and get more parent and community involvement. That is the goal, isn't it? How are we going to do that? How are we going to get more people involved in our schools? And that's WCG number 7. And that's all you got to do is just those 2 things and present it in a nice, logical, sequenced way. All right, moving on. WCG number 10. This is the field experience observation summary. What you're going to do is you're going to look back at WCG number 9. You're going to look back at WCG number 9. You are going to pick items from that list. If you remember in number 9, you had 5 ways your principal addressed a disagreement or barriers to success. Your job is to address 3 of those barriers, how you would do it. Very different from the first assignment where you talked about what your principal did. This time you're addressing what you would do and how you would address those same barriers. Then, second thing, the 3 areas for feedback that you wrote down your principal did, you're now going to address them as how you would do it. Now you may write, I would do it the same way as my principal because blah, 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 blah. Or I would do it differently because of blah, 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 blah. Again, this is your response to it. So kind of like we did with the compliance action plan this past week, week 10, same kind of thing. You're now looking at how you would do it differently. And you need to make sure that this includes a total of 3 pages. It's got to be 3 pages. It's got to be at least 3 pages of you reflecting on this assignment. Now, part of it could be at the end saying, this assignment enlightened me because our school doesn't do a good job in this area. Teachers don't know anything about ESE. I've seen these responses from you guys throughout the semester, and that's a great piece to put in here to make sure that your teachers are well informed. All right, that one's due in a couple of weeks. Last but not least is the group survey. I want to remind you the importance of this one. It's due after Thanksgiving, but if you wait till then, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. Like so far behind, you may not get the assignment done and you won't complete this class. First, you must create a survey for parents about involvement in the school. You want me to look at them ahead of time? Send it to me now. Let me look at it now. I can tell you if it's a good survey or not. What I recommend you do in your survey is 10 questions. You got to have 10. Do a Likert scale. 5-point works nicely, as in strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. It'll allow you to easily analyze the data. You're going to do this survey and get sample data from a group. It could be a large group of parents, a small group of parents. Whatever happens to work for you, that's what you got to get. You got to get some data. You need to get a good number of responses. My opinion is that to get real good data to work with, depending on how big your school is, because some of you are at smaller elementary schools, you need at least 20 to 30 responses to get some good data. That's part 1. Now, you're going to submit the 10 questions as one of the required items. Part 2, you are going to summarize the data using technology. This is why I recommended the Likert scale, because you can then graph it. You can graph each of the 10 questions showing what it looks like. You can use Excel to do this. You can do them however you want, but Excel is really the easiest way to make that work. That's number 2, a part of this assignment. Graphical representation. Now, some folks submit this as 2 separate documents. Some folks put it all together as one. Entirely up to you. Part 3 is all about the APA thing. Part 4, 3-page summary. This is where you're going to discuss the data. In question number 1, we were asking blah, blah, blah. And 75% agreed or strongly agreed. And 3% were neutral. And the other, whatever it is, 22% disagreed or strongly disagreed. That's all you're going to do. But you're going to spend 3 pages analyzing the 10 questions. 3 pages, 10 questions. It can be more than 3 pages, cannot be less. This is where you're going to actually take those graphs you develop and talk about them. The other reason I like the 5-point Likert scale is you could say favorable response is agree or strongly agree. An unfavorable response would be disagree or strongly disagree. So you can then group them when you analyze them. That's why we do a 5-point Likert scale, because it gives you more room for error. More room for error. Last but not least, 1-page summary. The 1-page summary is you talking about what you learned from the assignment and how you're going to apply this. That's it. So when you think about it, you have 4 things that got to get submitted. The questions, the data charts, the summary, the 3-page summary of the data, and finally your reflection. All 4 need to be included. You can do 4 separate documents or 1 big long document. The last one, which I forgot to pull up, is WCG number 6, which is due next week. So this week is number 7, next week is number 6, and this is where you're going to apply WCG number 5. You did this professional development research. You did all that. You're now going to pick one of those areas your school needed. You gave me 5. Pick one your school needed. You're going to pick one of the 5 areas you found to be effective PD. And you're going to create a PD. Now you're going to create a brochure that advertises this PD. You're basically advertising the PD to your colleagues. Why do you want to take this? How's it going to benefit you? Is it going to be 3 hours, 6 hours, 2 sessions, 4 sessions? All this important information needs to be on your brochure. PowerPoint, great way to do brochure templates these days. I don't really like Publisher anymore. My wife's done PowerPoint for a while and really likes the PowerPoint presentation piece for doing a brochure. Part 2, you have to share this with your colleagues. It could be your colleagues in this class, your colleagues at school. Get some feedback. Write a 1-page reflection. What did you learn from that? And how might you adjust the assignment based on all that information? So that's WC. Oliver. He's going nuts again, guys. Say hi. Say hi. Yes. I'm almost done, Ollie. We'll be done in a minute. He's famous. He's the famous Oliver. Anyway, back to WCG number 6. So 2 things you're turning in, your brochure and your reflection. Your reflection should talk about the feedback you got from either your colleagues at school, your colleagues in this course. Do it however you guys want. That works for me. Any questions on the assignments, let me know. Again, you give me 48 hours notice. I can look at it ahead of time. If you want me to look ahead of time, it's got to be emailed to me. When you put it in chalk and wire, I assume you're done. So remember that. You want me to look ahead of time, give you feedback, I need that ahead of time. So if you're unsure about your submission, because some of you have already put in number 7 and number 6, you want me to look at them ahead of time, I need them sent to me in an email, not in chalk and wire. Everything else going in chalk and wire, because this is really tight the rest of the semester, I'm going to assume you're done, and that's what I'm going to grade. Okay, guys? That is it for this week. Have a great week. More information later on this week, reminders and things like that on Friday as normal. And then our last video chat, don't forget, is next week. If you haven't done the week 10 assignments, you got, looks like my clock says 4 hours to get your stuff in, including the discussion forum responses. Some of you need that. And getting in your WCG number 4 compliance action plan presentation. You guys have a great week. I'll talk to you all real soon.